From the CBS Sports studio in Northwest Gainesville, welcome to Gainesville Gameday. Sponsored by Gatorland Toyota. Now, here's GTN News' own Phil Byrne and Gainesville Sun columnist Pat Dooley.
Well, we have no shortage of topics to discuss on this week's edition of Gainesville Gameday. As always, joined by the Gainesville Sun's Pat Dooley, I'm Phil Byrne. The Gators had a great game in Week 1. Week 2, while they did pick up the win, sloppy football, unnecessary penalties, and maybe the start of an undisciplined play here in Gainesville on this season. Well, the Gators did get the win. Pat, how disappointing was the product that we saw on the field last Saturday night?
Well, it was disappointing from the start when they came out in those all-orange jerseys. It just reminds me of the old days when they weren't very good at football. And they do look like Clemson, which is why Spurrier got rid of them in the first place. But the penalties were bad. The turnovers were bad. A lot of balls on the ground. And, the opposition was ratcheted up a little bit, and they didn't respond very well to it. So I think he's got their attention from what happened this game. But it was not a fun game to be at.
Not at all. You thought that something was off when East Carolina had no problem scoring that opening drive. Putting 7 points up on the board. It is the time for SEC play. Gators are in Lexington today to take on Kentucky. Pat, are they ready?
Well, we're about to find out, I think, really in the next 2 weeks, whether this is an SEC East contending team. And again, the SEC East is wide open. Georgia's got issues at quarterback. We saw Tennessee already lose a game, not in the conference, but they lost a game. We'll find out if they're ready in this game because this Kentucky team's better, and they believe they can win. And that's been part of what they've tried to sell, the belief that they can win games.
Should be interesting, that's for sure. Gators, Kentucky, not the only game happening in the SEC today. Let's see what other games are on tap.
The starting lineup, sponsored by Blue Highway, a pizzeria.
It's time for a catfight down in Baton Rouge at 3:30 on CBS 4. Number 18 Auburn and number 13 LSU to battle. Auburn is looking to put last week's almost upset loss against Jacksonville State behind them. Should be a great early season matchup. At 6 p.m., Steve Spurrier and the South Carolina Gamecocks will look to avoid going 1-2 to start the season when they face number 7 Georgia in Athens. The Gamecocks last beat the Dogs in 2012. At 7:30, your Florida Gators will look to keep the nation's longest winning streak in an active series alive when they play in Lexington against Kentucky. The streak is at 28, but Kentucky has looked impressive to start the year. And at 9:15, we get the sequel to one of 2014's most compelling games when number 15 Ole Miss plays at Alabama. The Tide have won an amazing 23 straight conference openers. Auburn was narrowly upset last week by FCS-level Jacksonville State. Today they get LSU. Pat, how big of a game is that Auburn-LSU game?
Well, it's big. I mean, it's tiger on tiger, first of all, and of course in the SEC West it's important. But I think more than anything for the early confidence for these two teams. Auburn, just looked awful on offense and defense last week, and now LSU, looked good for a while and then almost let it get away against Mississippi State. Probably should have lost that game. So, last year, Auburn made LSU's quarterback look pretty bad. He's back for another start, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's more of a confidence than it actually is within the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach McElwain's outburst on the sidelines at the start of SEC play lead off today's Word on Campus. Here's Chelsea Brown with more.
The Word on Campus.
McElwain made a visual display at Saturday's game against East Carolina after Kelvin Taylor received an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. We talked to students about how they felt about Mac's reaction. Do you think that it was justified based on the action that Kelvin Taylor made?
Oh, 100%.
I don't know what was going through his head. I guess pressure from the game and winning at home.
It was probably warranted, and he's trying to teach the players not to make silly mistakes.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's unsportsmanlike conduct. Maybe perhaps over celebration, but that was ridiculous to blow up on.
Yeah. So the depth chart for the game against Kentucky is out, and Kelvin Taylor got bumped down now. Do you think that should have happened?
That's ridiculous. That is a poor coaching call, and that's just ridiculous. That's gonna actually hurt us now. Kentucky won't be as easy as I thought it was gonna be.
Hey, he's the head coach. I'm not. He knows what he's doing.
It's done. It's a done deal. They got it. It was out of there.
What do you think their chances are going against Kentucky this weekend away?
I think they're pretty good, but I think that's a biased opinion.
I don't think we're going to win this game. I think we're going to be pretty close, but Kentucky's been pretty good.
After the heated speech that everyone saw on the internet, that they're definitely going to toughen up, and I think we could do it.
We did so well the last 2 games, and we came back from behind in the last game, so I have faith that we'll be able to win against Kentucky.
It'll be a tough game, of course, but I think we're going to pull out the win. It's going to be practice for Tennessee the week after, basically, because Tennessee's the one we're going to have to watch. Kentucky really shouldn't be a problem. It's going to be a minor speed bump.
A big win against Kentucky today could put a lot of these issues to rest. With your word on campus, I'm Chelsea Brown. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. More Gainesville Game Day after this.